Are jeans only suitable for the stone style route? And can you wear them in a feminine, interesting, or polished way? Over the past 2 weeks, I've spent over 100 hours poring over jeans websites, Pinterest boards, and style routes information so I can bring you the only jeans guide you will ever need to find your perfect jeans. I've got the charts, the tables, the outfits, and the analysis, so let's get straight into it. Whenever you go looking for jeans today, there is a huge variety, not only in shapes, but also in rises, lengths, colors, details, and fabrics. And so not all of the jeans that you encounter today will have the mountain or the stone style route in them. You might actually find that other style routes are more prevalent. And so to make things very simple, I poured over Ellie Jean's book, her Pinterest boards, and all the information that I had extracted from it, and created a visual vocabulary for you so you can easily analyze which style routes certain types of jeans belong to. Let's first start with mushroom jeans, which are going to be your classic, simple, very minimal detail kind of jeans. They're going to also be in traditional blue colors. Similarly to that, the mountain jeans are also quite classic, but the key element there is going to be either the structure, so they're going to look really, really stiff, 100% cotton, or they're going to also be really long. Length is also one of those things that creates this sense of intimidation, professionalism, and so this is very much mountain. Now, if we move to stone, these are basically any sort of oversized, baggy, undone jeans. They can also have elements such as distressing, raw hems, they can be frayed, they can have patchwork or really big pockets like cargo pants. All of those are stone elements. Now, on the other side, we have earth, which are also loose, but they're more flowy. They can have a vintage or bohemian feeling, and they can also be in earthy tones. If we move to flower, the flower jeans are going to be delicate. They're going to be girly. They may be cropped or shorter in length to create that sense of little girl effect. They may have a floral print, embroidery, or be in light pastel colors. On the other side of flower is fire. And so those jeans are going to be soft, figure-hugging, and create this royal effect. They may have elements such as sparkle, they may be red or jewel-toned, or even have animal print. When it comes to moon, those jeans would usually be dark in terms of tone. They may create a tougher effect. They may have elements such as chains, studs, ribs, or even have patchwork of leather. And finally, when it comes to sun, those jeans will have something creative and interesting. So whether that is patterns being in bright colors, some sort of unusual shapes, or even things like applique, all of those details are going to create a sun effect. So if you've watched my previous video about the style routes and how to find yours, you will know that I don't look at things as black and white, I look them as being on the spectrum. So the 4 core needs are being put together timeless, feeling relaxed, feeling feminine, and feeling interesting, creatively edgy. Now, I just want to show you the couple of differences that I've made compared to the previous video based on your feedback and also what is relevant to jeans. So mountain is usually the structured style route, but in terms of jeans, we don't just look at the fabric, which is one way to add structure, but length is also another thing that adds a sense of intimidation, professionalism. So that is something that is going to be on the spectrum. For the flower style route, I added delicate, short, and curly because the delicateness, that sort of lightness, is something that appeals to the flower style route. And finally, when it comes to moon, I decided to add dark alongside tough based on your feedback because some of you said that you don't necessarily want to feel tough and strong, you just want to be dark. And that is absolutely a valid point. And you'll see that in terms of jeans that you can create that sense of darkness without actually being tough. So let's look into each of those spectrums in a little bit more detail. So the mushroom jeans will be classic and minimal. And the first thing you're going to notice about them is not the structure. It's the fact that they're very, very plain, very minimal, very simple. And they can be in any sort of classic denim wash. Now, if we move to the middle of the spectrum, you can find the more classic straight leg jeans because those will have more structure, but still be very plain, very simple, very classic, neutral, timeless, just something that's very, very classic. Now, in Ellie Jean's terminology, she defines straight leg jeans as purely mushroom. However, I think if you look at it as a spectrum, it's kind of in the middle. And finally, if we move to mountain, you'll find jeans that are structured and or long, and they create this sense of intimidation. The next one is the relaxed, comfortable spectrum. So if we look into purely stone jeans, you'll find that they're loose, baggy, and they'll often be in lighter washes. Secondly, for stone, I had put loose, baggy, dynamic because that looseness and bagginess is actually what creates the stone style route when it comes to jeans. Now, if we move into the middle of the spectrum, you can see that those are your typical relaxed jeans, right? They have a relaxed fit. They're not necessarily baggy, but they're relaxed. And they will have some sort of practical elements to them. They may have some pockets, but they're overall quite loose fitting. And finally, if we move to Earth, I would say that they will have this more bohemian 70s feeling, like you can see with the darker indigo wash or the very loose, almost trouser-like fabric. It almost doesn't look like jeans, it just looks like trousers that are in indigo blue. When it comes to femininity, I would say that jeans are very practical, very utilitarian, maybe structured. And so whenever you see jeans, I would say femininity is not your first association. However, I think that you can still create that feminine feeling in a couple of different ways. So firstly, when it comes to flower, I would say that any sort of cropped length, pastel colors, and the sort of A-line girly silhouette creates this more delicate feeling. If we move to the middle of the spectrum, I would say that jeans that are fitted and soft, such as skinny jeans, they highlight the body, and so they create that slightly more feminine feeling than, let's say, straight leg jeans. And also any jeans that are maybe flares still create that feminine feeling. And finally, when it comes to fire, this is probably the hardest one to create in jeans, but anything that is, let's say, extreme flares will create almost a skirt-like royal effect. Leopard print, dark jewel tones, all of that will create that womanly, sensual feeling, even in an item that is not necessarily feminine. And finally, we have interesting jeans. So starting with the moon side of things, you can see that darker washes like darker grays and blacks with chains, studs, anything like that is going to create that darker, tougher sense. Now, if we start adding more creative elements to darker jeans, I would say these sit in the middle between moon and sun. So you can see rhinestones, lace, sparkles, embroidery, anything like that that's more creative is going to come in the middle. And then if we have purely creative jeans, so you can see things like the double waist, the sparkle, the star applique, the impractical pockets at the front. All of that is just going to create that creative effect. And so that is very much sun. So now that you understand the spectrum of different jeans, let's answer the question, what actually influences the style route of the jeans? And these are the 6 different elements that contribute to how a jeans feels. So let's examine each of them in more detail. Now, the first, and I would say oftentimes the biggest element that determines the style route of a pair of jeans is actually the shape or the fit. And that is because the shape and the fit will create the overall vibe. Are we looking at something more structured or more relaxed? And so, for example, in here, you can see that all 3 pairs will have the stone style route because of their baggy loose shape, even though for some of them you may have other secondary routes as well, such as the moon or the sun. So now let's look into all the different types of jeans. And let me just say, I never realized there were that many different kinds of jeans, but over my research, I think there are about 15 different shapes. So let's go through those of them and let me share how I actually analyze what style routes they are. So the first one are the jeans that you probably have somewhere in your wardrobe, and those are the skinnies and the slims. And the difference between the two is that the skinnies are very tight on the body versus the slim leg maybe a little bit more loose, especially at the ankle. But generally, they're quite tight on the body. And so in here, I ask myself, how would I describe those? So I would say they're simple and minimal, which is mushroom. And then also they're soft, they're figure hugging and feminine. And so I would put them in the middle of flower and fire. And so these are the style routes for this kind of jeans. The next type of jeans I would say are mom jeans and boyfriend jeans. And even though those may look a bit different, they're actually both a kind of tapered jean. And so they are a little bit more relaxed at the hips and then they taper down on the lower leg. So how would I describe them? Well, I would say they are relaxed, comfortable, easy to move in. And so I'll probably place them in the middle of stone and earth. And then I would say, because they've been here since the 80s, I would say they're quite timeless, they're simple, and they have some sense of structure, way more than skinny jeans. And so for me, this would be in the middle of mushroom and mountain. And you can play on either side of that spectrum depending on how you style them. The next type of jeans are straight leg jeans. And so in here, we can have your classic 501s, we can have just plain straight jeans or the classic boot cut. So generally, they're quite fitted at the thighs and they have the classic straight leg at the bottom. So what words can we use to describe them? I would just describe them as timeless, simple, and structured. And so again, I would put those in the middle of the mushroom and mountain spectrum. Now again, Ellie Jean puts them in mushroom, I put them in the middle of my spectrum, but there's no other element in here. They're not relaxed, they're not feminine, and they're not interesting in any sort of way. The next type of jeans we have are the flares, and you'll recognize them because they're quite fitted at the hips and the thighs, and then they'll gently flare from the knee down. So personally, I would put those in the middle of the fire flower spectrum because they're soft, figure enhancing, and feminine. That's the first association. Now, some of you may argue that they're also on the put together timeless spectrum, but I actually think that there were decades where those jeans were not seen as very classic or timeless. And so I would say that it's the feminine quality that stands out rather than them being classic. The next type of jeans are something that I keep seeing in stores a lot more recently, and so these are the bell jeans. So they're generally quite long by default, that's the kind of style, and they're going to fit again quite tightly at the hips and the waist, and then going to flare quite widely from the knee down. So they're slightly different from the flares. Now, in here, I would say that the first word we're going to use is this more glam, womanly feeling. They're not delicate, and so this is the fire style route. I would say they're also quite bohemian, having the 70s feeling, so they're leaning a lot more towards earth. And I would say because of the length, they're also intimidating and long, and so they also have a bit more of the mountain in them as well. The next type of jeans are your classic wide leg jeans, and so they're going to be straight to loose at the thighs and then going to go wider from the knee down. So in here, the first word I'm going to use is that they're just relaxed, they're practical, they're easy to move in. They're not necessarily baggy and flowy, so I would put them in the middle of the stone and earth spectrum. And then because they're long and relatively structured and intimidating, I would also put mountain in here. And a variation, I would say, of wide leg jeans are culottes. So basically, they're wide leg jeans that have been cropped. And so when it comes to the style roots, we are removing this glam, womanly feeling. And so when it comes to the words I would use to describe them, the first thing that stands out is the length. So they're cropped, short, more delicate. So I would put them in more towards flower. And because they have still this sense of structure and put togetherness, I would put them in the middle of mushroom and mountain. The next one I would say is the baggy wide leg jeans, and so they're going to be loose pretty much from the hips down. Now, I would say that they are 100% stone jeans because they just have this baggy dynamic feeling. Now, I'm not going to factor the length in here because for those two pairs I've shown you, yes, they would also be long, they'll have the mountain in there, but if it's another pair that is shorter, they'll still have this baggy, loose, dynamic feeling without necessarily having mountain in them. The next type of jeans I was quite surprised to find because I hadn't necessarily seen them that much, but these are the baggy straight leg jeans that are also called daddy jeans or cargo pants, depending on what details they have. And so again, they're going to be loose everywhere and have that straight leg. Now, to me, those are slightly less loose and baggy than the wider leg ones that I shown you. But again, the core root in here is stone. There's nothing else really in here. And finally, we have the very trendy barrel leg jeans. I would say those are quite new, and so it took me a bit to decide what style roots those would be. However, I would say that kind of the core thing in here is that they're relaxed and dynamic. So that's in the middle of stone and earth. Then we have the structure because those jeans keep their structure. So there is mountain. And because they have an unusual shape that almost lacks a purpose, like they're easy to move in, but the oversizedness, the roundedness, it's almost like impractical without a purpose. And so I would say that they lean more creative in that sense, so leaning a bit more towards sun as well. And for those of you that like visual guides, I've actually decided to make this into a downloadable PDF. I decided to include stores where you can buy different kinds of jeans, and I've also analyzed over 25 more pairs, so you know exactly how to apply my system to whatever jeans you find. So if this is something that you want to get, I've made this available for less than the price of a coffee. Link is in the description box and the pinned comment below. And while shape is one of the core factors, it is not the only one. So let's look into the other one that makes a big difference. Now, I would say length is a really interesting one because cropped shorter lengths straight away create this more delicate feeling. So we're going to put them towards flower versus any pair of jeans that are scraping the floor are going to have mountain. Now, they can look very, very different and have a different style root. That is the dominant one. So we have things like stone and earth and fire that are actually more prevalent in each of those jeans. But the length, the sense of professionalism, intimidation is still going to come through. So the length is actually an important factor as well. The next factor that actually makes a big difference is also the fabric. And so you have to ask yourself, what are we trying to achieve by changing the fabric? So if we want to bring structure, we're going to use 100% cotton or like 99% cotton. And so those jeans are going to have the mountain style root because they have the structured shape that they're going to keep. Now, if we want to highlight the feminine shape of the body, we can use skinny jeans or flares. And so those jeans will have elastane. They might have like modal, lyocell, any of those stretchier fabrics to create that form-fitting shape. And so they're going to be in the middle of fire and flower. And then if we find that jeans are made of this very lightweight, almost fabric-like denim rather than the cotton sturdier one, these will have the earth root. because to me they're a lot more flowy, lightweight, create a very different feeling than the 100% sturdy cotton. But it's not just the fabric that makes the difference, because the color can actually change the style roots completely. So if we have very light wash, this is usually going to be stone. If we have the classic to medium washes, these are usually mountain and mushroom, usually in the middle. Black or gray jeans will be moon. Any sort of earthy tones, and that can be browns and greens and beiges, are going to have earth. Any pastel colors, so lighter pinks, whites, creams, anything like that, is going to go into flower. Brighter colors are going to go into sun. Red or jewel tones are going to be fire. And similarly with animal print, especially leopard print, very trendy jeans, they definitely have the fire style root in them. And then any sort of metallic jeans, I would say they have a lot more sun because it's unexpected and fun and almost impractical. And beyond color, details are also going to make a massive difference. So jeans with details are visually more complex and will oftentimes have more than one style route. Now, some details are going to be very, very subtle and probably not going to affect that much, versus others will be quite big, quite prevalent and noticeable, and so they may actually create quite a big change in how the jeans appear. So if we have minimal details, those would be usually your mushroom jeans. The raw hems and especially the distressed hems are going to be stone. Those big practical cargo pants like pockets are also stone. But if you have rips, chains, studs, zips, this is going to go into moon. Now, rhinestones are an interesting one because they can create a more glamorous touch if they're more like sparkle. And so this would be fire. But also if they're just creating an unexpected and almost impractical texture, this is going to lean more towards sun. Pretty much all creative elements you can find are going to belong to sun. And something I haven't mentioned yet is the paper bag waist, which again creates this soft and figure hugging effect. And so to me, that leans a lot more towards fire and helps to make jeans more feminine. And finally, you might be wondering, does the rise actually matter? Now, to me personally, rise is the least important element because it's mostly affecting how the jeans are going to fit on your body and not necessarily their style. Now, the low rise jeans, I would say, straight away creates this more relaxed effect, and so they're going to go into stone. However, if we look into mid to high rise, I would say all those 4 pairs of jeans belong to completely different style routes, they have completely different shapes, and so the rise of the jean doesn't actually determine all that much. It just means that there are people that like wearing this kind of styles can wear them. And so, drum roll please, we have this magnificent chart that I have put together to help you analyze each and every pair of jeans that you can find. So, I have created all the different types of jeans, the lengths, the fabrics, colors, rises, and details. And so whenever you find a pair of jeans, whether that's online or in person, you will be able to just go around, analyze all the different details, and figure out what style roots actually belong to this pair of jeans. So let me actually show you how I analyze different jeans. Let's first look into jeans that have one single style root or fulfill only one of the 4 style needs. So these are jeans that you can easily describe as very something. And whether that is very sporty, relaxed, very delicate and girly, or very timeless classic, there will be just one need that they fulfill. And so again, we're going to use our chart to analyze those jeans. So in terms of shape, they're baggy straight leg, they're long, 100% cotton, acid wash, and have big pockets. And so just combining those, I would say we have a very strong stone presence and maybe potentially mountain. But here is the thing. You ask yourself, what is the most distinct aspect of those jeans? And to me, it is the relaxed fit, the light acid wash, and the big cargo pockets. And so rather than having mountain, I would just say these are pretty much 100% stone. And those jeans are actually great because they can be combined with any style root combination that has the stone root. And so one of you suggested mushroom, flower, and stone, so let me show you how you can build different outfits. Now, because the jeans are very stone, for the top I decided to go with mushroom and flower, and so I picked this very simple light pink cardigan. Now, if we wanted to amplify both the stone and the flower element, I would pick this fluffy sporty bomber jacket and also the pink practical boots. But if you only wanted to amplify the flower style route, I would go for different coats and boot. So this would be more feminine, more girly, fluffy, and slightly less practical. And you can see that you can play with that and amplify each of your own routes. Now, if we have a combination where you don't have the stone style route, let's say mushroom, flower, and fire, then it's gonna be pretty hard to create an outfit with those jeans because they're such a big part that even if we add everything else to have the other 3 style routes, the stone is still going to come across. And so this might work for you if you want to inject something different into your style, But if you're someone that's very strong on your 3 style roots or style needs, then I don't think these jeans are actually perfect for you. Now, the next level is actually picking jeans that have 2 different style roots or fulfill 2 different style needs. So to me, those jeans will be described as something, and those words will be coming from different style needs. I would say those jeans are also quite versatile because you can take one aspect of them and amplify it, and you can also add a third style root and create different outfits. So for example, those slight skinnies are minimal and figure hugging, those are long and flowy, creative and structured, or dark and structured, and so on. And so again, using our chart, let's actually analyze this pair of dark jeans. So they are wide leg, they're long, they have this light flowy fabric, and they're also in this indigo. And so to me, I would say I sense a lot of a stronger earth influence, but there's also mountain, maybe a little bit of stone as well. So we're going to ask ourselves again, what is the most distinct aspect of those jeans? And to me, it is the fabric, actually. It's lightweight, it's flowy, and this could be trousers if it was a different kind of fabric. The next thing that stands out is also the indigo, and finally, it's the length. And so I would say these are more earth than mountain, but they have both style roots quite strong in there. And so those jeans are perfect if you already have earth and mountain, and you want to add a third style root. Let's say you want to add fire. So in here, I have added a top that just has the fire style root. It's not earth and it's not mountain. And we have created a balanced base. Now, I've decided to keep the bag and the shoes to be earth and mountain. So they're suede, but they're somewhat structured. So they have both of those style roots. And then for the coat, to balance that out, I picked a coat that's specifically not structured. It's just soft and feminine and bright red. So it's very fire. And so this outfit is going to look very balanced because it's going to have all 3 of the style roots. Now, if we wanted to amplify the fire, what we can do is we can add some gold hard jewelry like this one, and we can change the boots. So leopard print definitely goes a lot more into fire. And so you can see just by changing a few elements, we're amplifying it in one way. If you wanted to take the original base and make it more earthy though, all we need to do literally is change the code, because this one has very strong bohemian feelings with the print and the colors, but it's still feminine because it cinches at the waist. And finally, if you want to enhance the mountain style root, let's change the code again. We've made it more structured, more classic, but it still has those earthy and feminine elements. To also add mountain, I changed the boots from suede to leather, so it's sturdier, and the heel is also not a kitten heel, it's a block heel. So we've added that structure element in there. And so if we compare all 4 of the different outfits, you can see that with a jean like this, you can create very versatile outfits and create things that are more bohemian, more feminine, stronger, play on different aspects of your style roots. And if you enjoy seeing how I build outfits for the style roots, I'm actually super excited to announce that for the first time, I've actually created ways that you can work with me and I can help you style clothes that you already have, or I can help you find exactly the right items to suit your style. So whether you want help finding your style words, whether you want to build outfits for a specific occasion or based on your style roots, or whether you want my help with your capsule wardrobe, I have exactly the right service for you. And if you're watching this between the 24th of November and the 2nd of December, it is Black Friday week, and so I have special introductory prices that you can benefit from. You can now book me for December, January, or February, so if this is something that you want to gift for yourself or someone else that you know may benefit from that, now is the perfect time to get it. You can find all the details in the description box below and the pinned comment, and I'm really excited to help you build outfits that make you feel confident and express your style. And now let's go back to the video. And finally, maybe you want to find jeans that are very you. So they have all 3 distinct style roots that you have or fulfill 3 different style needs. So again, those jeans are going to be described as interesting or complex. They're not your plain and simple jeans that you can find in Levi's. And so they're going to usually be interesting through their shape, the details, something that makes them stand out in a sea of other blue jeans. And so again, let's analyze this pair of jeans that I found. I think it's on the Sandro website. And by the way, in the guide, it has the links to all of the different items if you want to check them out. So let's see with those jeans, they are wide leg, they're long, 100% cotton, they're acid wash, and they have this creative star applique. So I would say they have mountain, stone, and then sun as well. But if we want to find the order and kind of like what's the balance of those 3 style roots, we actually ask ourselves what's the most distinct aspect. And I would say to me, the star applique, the star print actually stands out a lot more than the length or the wash. And it's because the stars are not very delicate and dainty. They are really big and contrasting. And so to me, the order is actually sun, then mountain, and then stone. So these jeans are very versatile if you have quite different occasions that you want to attend, but you don't want to buy 500 different things. So these jeans can be made very relaxed and sporty by playing on the stone route with a sweatshirt, puffer jacket, and trainers. But you can also dress them up for work unless it's a super formal environment, because you can add structured boots, this very classic, very high neck mountain jumper, and then the structured classic black coat. And straight away, the outfit looks a lot more polished. And finally, if you want to be very creative and relaxed in your day-to-day, then you can wear a green jumper, the colorful sneakers, and this relaxed and bright coat to create a much more of a sun effect. Okay, so now that you know all of the theory on how to analyze jeans, let's now talk about how to actually choose what to buy or what to wear. I would say that you have three different options when it comes to picking what kind of jeans you want. So the first option is finding jeans that have all three of your style routes or fulfill all three needs. And so let's say that we use the star print jeans that I just showed you. Now, because these are very complex, I would say that it's very easy to style them if you just pick one style route and then amplify it. Because if you try to add one item from each style route to try to make it balanced, I kind of feel like it starts looking a bit disjointed and like it's lacking in direction. Now, this outfit might look okay for you. Personally, for me, it's not my favorite. And so I would say that I would stick with those kind of jeans into using only one style route. The next option is to find jeans that have one or maybe two of your style routes and then build in the rest of your style routes in your outfit. So let's say that we have mountain, sun, and stone. And we decided to use mountain and sun in our jeans. So those jeans, I would say, are very, very mountain. They're quite classic, but because they have those impractical pockets at the front, they also have a sun element. And so in here, we have literally used the same coat, jumper, and trainers like in the previous one, but in here, it doesn't actually look disjointed because the jeans are so much more pared back. I would say this outfit starts feeling more balanced, more intentional, and you can create a variety of different outfits. So if we wanted to go, for example, into more of a sun direction, well, we add the stone through the sweatshirt, and then we add the sun elements through the coat and the sneakers. And again, we have mountain, we have sun, and we have stone. Or if we wanted to create something that has a little bit of everything, we can add the green jumper, the puffer jacket, and the black boots. And again, this can feel a lot more balanced because those jeans are versatile. You can pretty much mix and match any of your items, and as long as they are relevant to your other style routes, you can create a lot of different combinations. And your third option is to actually use jeans that you already have that maybe don't really fit in your style routes, but they're very basic, very much a blank canvas, and then you incorporate all three of your style routes in your outfit. Now, I asked you what's your favorite type of jeans to wear, and I think about 20% of you said that you like slim and skinny jeans. And to me, those are very plain, very basic. They can have a bit of the flower fire feminine element because they're figure hugging, and they're usually quite minimal, so also mushroom, but I wouldn't say they're very strong in any of the style routes or style needs. And so they create a good blank canvas. Now, let's say you have mountain, sun, and stone as your style route. Here is an outfit that I built with the very structured, very classic mountain boots, with the sun jumper and the stone jacket. See that the jeans just basically blend in there and they don't create anything strong as a sense. We can use the same style routes to add a very sun jumper, a very mountain coat, and very stone sneakers. And even the bag is, I would say, a bit of a mountain and sun. And again, you can see that the jeans pretty much fade in the background, allowing other elements to shine. And so if you have skinnies or slim jeans, if you have anything that's very, very plain, you can definitely use it, even though it doesn't technically fall within your style routes. But you might be asking, okay, can any jeans be a blank canvas? I would say for skinny, slim jeans, yes, they're very, very easy to style. But if we take, let's say, cargo jeans that I showed you previously, they're very strong in the stone style route. So if you don't have that, then those jeans will not be very versatile and act as a blank canvas to you. But if you're someone that actually has the stone style route, you can amplify your other two and use those as a blank canvas. So now that you know the different types of jeans, how do you actually find your perfect pair? I am definitely much more of a spontaneous shopper, but I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional. And so let me walk you through the different methods. So the first method is a spontaneous one where you basically start by knowing your style routes or your style needs. And then whether you go shopping online or in person, you pick a pair of jeans that you're drawn to and you analyze it through the different elements. So I'm going to show you how to do that. And the questions we're trying to answer here really is, do these jeans cover your style routes and style needs, and how many of them, so we know sort of how versatile they're going to be? And asking yourself, can you actually style them with your other style routes? Do these jeans make sense within your wardrobe? let's look into analyzing some finds that we found spontaneously. So again, we're going to use our chart, and let's say that I found this beautiful pair of metallic jeans. Using the chart, we have wide leg, they're long, they're light and flowy, almost like a fabric, they're metallic, and I would say they're minimal details. And so if we just look at the style roots, it can be a bit confusing because there is mountain, there is surf, but there's also sun and mushroom and stone, and so it can be a little bit challenging. We can put things on the spectrum. We realize that there is nothing, I would say, feminine in here. They're quite creative with the fabric. It's very, very noticeable. And the length is also a big element, and the fact that they're relaxed, flowy, free. So I would say that these are strongest in the sun, and then we have mountain and earth as well as supporting elements. And so those jeans can be styled to fulfill the sun, more creative style need. They can be used to create a more polished look with the mountain or a more relaxed look with earth and stone. So this first outfit plays really on the sun elements with the different bright colors. And so while we do have some mountain elements and some stone earthy elements, the thing that comes across is that this outfit is really creative. Same pair of jeans, if we wanted to amplify the mountain, we're going to pick items that are a lot more classic, but they're still comfortable and relaxed. And so this outfit is straight away coming across as a lot more polished. Or if we wanted to use the relaxed, flowy, chill vibes of the outfit, then we can definitely play up with the sneakers, which are still creative, but the main thing is that they're quite comfortable, and then play up with an interesting jumper and a puffer jacket. And so this outfit still has a bit of that classic mountain style root, but it's definitely much more earthy stone and then sun as well. And so those jeans, even though they cover the other three style needs, I wouldn't say they're particularly feminine in here. And so if you have a very, very strong need to feel feminine, I would say this might be a little bit harder to style, and especially for flower, because these are not delicate. Now, if you wanted to go the more regal round, because they're sparkly, maybe we can play up to the fire root. So I would say adding a velvet shirt, I've added the sparkly boots, and then the faux fur coat in a jewel tone. We can create a very sort of like festive outfit for the fire style route. But personally, if I had fire really strong, I wouldn't go for those jeans because they're much stronger in other style routes and style needs. Now let's look at another example. We found those jeans and we're trying to analyze them. So I would say they're baggy straight leg, they're made of 100% cotton, they're long, they're indigo, and they have the big pockets. So looking at the style roots, there's definitely stone and mountain and a little bit of earth. And so putting them on the spectrum, they're pretty much 100% to the mountain and maybe 80% towards stone, but they're not like 100% super loose and super baggy because of the fabric. Now, if you ask yourself what's the most distinct aspect, it's definitely kind of the cargo pockets, the bagginess, and then the length. So stone and mountain for those specific jeans. And you can create outfits that honor those two different style needs. And so, for example, let's say you have mountain, mushroom, and stone, then we can definitely create polished outfits, more relaxed outfits, or even mix and match different elements and create a more balanced look. However, because those jeans cover only two of the style needs, if you want to be feminine or if you want to be very creative or edgy, I would say those jeans are going to be pretty hard to style. Not impossible, especially if you want to go the edgy route, you probably could, but I would still say that these are best if you have the more timeless and the relaxed style needs. So that was the spontaneous way, but let's look into the intentional way. And that is when you want to find jeans to fulfill a specific purpose in your wardrobe. So again, you start by knowing your style roots and style needs, and then deciding what kind of jeans do you actually want. Like, do you want jeans that feel very you? So probably you want to find all three style roots and style needs within one pair. Do you want the more versatile one, or do you just want some basic plain jeans? And all of those are absolutely valid options. Now, here is the cool part. Because you have the cheat sheet, you can actually make a list of elements that you can start searching for, and this will going to expose you to a variety of different options. You can also take this list to a physical store or even secondhand stores to make sure that you're finding jeans that make sense for your style roots and fulfilling your style needs. Let's say in here that you have style roots that are flower, sun, and earth. So these are three different style needs that we need to fulfill. And so I went into the chart and I tried to extract all of the different elements that could potentially work. So in terms of shapes, we can look for flares, bell bottoms, barrel jeans, or culottes. All of those may fulfill our needs. In terms of length, I'll probably go with short and cropped, but maybe we find some of the actually long that still can work. In terms of fabric, maybe we look for stretchy or light and flowy. That can add different elements. Color-wise, maybe we go indigo, earthy tones, pastels, or metallics. All of those can work. And then in terms of details, I mean, some can be added in a lot of different ways. And also lace maybe can work, floral prints, anything like that. So there are a lot of different options that we can explore. Let's say that we want to cover all three different routes and we look into different things and we say, okay, Can we try to find maybe something that's bell bottom, so that's quite earthy and feminine to an extent, but then also has floral print all over. So that's probably going to have sun and flower as our style roots. So I just put floral bell jeans into Google, and these are different options that actually came up. And so I browsed through different ones, and those are the two that kind of stood out to me. So this first pair from Ganni is actually a lot more sun, but it still has the floral effect and the earthy shape. And so even though it's not necessarily super flower, I would say it's kind of in the middle because the shape is more feminine, those jeans can actually work. Now, the second pair, I would say, again, is quite creative, but it still has a strong flower element because these are light and they have this big lacy detail. So again, this might be an option for someone with those three style roots. But let's say you realize, okay, I actually don't like this kind of jeans. This is not what I'm usually drawn to. Let's try some different combination of elements. So maybe let's try looking for flares that are maybe short or cropped in some earthy tones such as green. And let's look if we can find something with creative elements, but we're not like super bound to that. So I put green cropped flare jeans and started looking through them. Now, this first thing that I found was actually from a listing that is no longer live, that was in the images section, but I actually think that those jeans fulfill the purpose quite well because they're cropped, they have this more earthy shape, they're like bell jeans but cropped, and they're green. And they have the pattern all over, which is very sun. And so even though I can't necessarily buy those from a website, you can find those on Vinted and Poshmark, all of those resale platforms, or you can look for something that looks quite similar when you go shopping. Now, looking through the results, I also found this pair of earthy green jeans that are cropped flare. So I would say those fulfill definitely the flower and the earth style roots. I wouldn't say they're very sun. They have a slightly interesting hem, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not very noticeable. And so you can decide maybe you buy those and you decorate them yourself, or maybe you play with the sun with all of the other elements. And so just because you start looking for something that's very sun, it doesn't mean that you will find it or that you need to find it to still buy jeans for your style roots. And then we say, okay, actually, what I really want is to amplify the flowers. So I want to use something that has like pastel colors, lighter colors. So I decided in here to just put like pink cropped flare jeans, see what shows up. And those two pairs were actually quite relevant to the search. I think they're definitely quite strong in the flower style route. They have a little bit of that sense of relaxation, which is the earth one. I wouldn't say they're necessarily sun, but again, just like with the green ones, we can maybe play it up with the other elements in our outfit. Now, when I kept searching, I actually found those frayed edge, really textured jeans from Isabel Marant. And so these are definitely playing a lot more on the sun element rather than necessarily flower. But if someone was not super like light and delicate, just wanted to be creative but girly, this may actually work pretty well because they're still quite cropped. They still have this relaxation, that earthy boho feeling. So that may work. I was scrolling and I also found these bottle-neck jeans. And bottle-neck is not necessarily something that you'd consider like delicate, like flowery, but at the same time, it is relaxed, so it can fulfill the earth relaxed element, and it is interesting. So that's sun in terms of shape. And because I found it in this very light pink color, maybe if we put it with a very feminine girly blouse like in here, maybe that can work for us. So I opened it, and then I also found that these jeans come in this metallic fabric that's also pink. And I was like, okay, this can actually play a lot more on the sun style route. So again, if you go and explore, you got to find a variety of jeans that fulfill your style routes, and that's going to give you some ideas for what to look for, what to buy if you find a secondhand shop, or what to even make if you're someone that makes your own clothes. And now that you know how to find the perfect jeans and how to style them, it is time to subscribe and click the notification bell, because next week I'm going to drop a video where I style one pair of jeans for a variety of different style route combinations. I'll see you there.